Hello, everyone. Welcome. Glad you're here. This is a great crowd. Makes you feel good about being part of a co-op like this. So if I could have everyone stand and remove their hat, we're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, Dave Armstrong. This is our board president, Dave Armstrong.
Thank you, Pat. I'd like to welcome you all here this afternoon. It's great to see everyone, and I have been advised that we do have a quorum. We do have a quorum present, so we can conduct this meeting. I would now call it to order, and I would ask your approval for the meeting agenda. Hopefully that was handed out or on the table where you could grab one. All right, so we will continue with the meeting, and John Knievel will come up and read the notice of the meeting and the minutes of our last meeting.
Am I standing about right for the microphone? Does that work? Okay. Notice of the 67th annual meeting of the members and directors of the Northeast Nebraska Telephone Company. To all members and directors of Northeast Nebraska Telephone Company, you are hereby notified that the 67th annual meeting of members of Northeast Nebraska Telephone Company will be held at Northeast Nebraska Telephone Company, located at 110 East Elk Street, Jackson, Nebraska, on the third Thursday, 19th day of September 2024 at 4 p.m. The purpose of the meeting is for the election of directors. Presentation of company reports and for such other businesses may properly come before the meeting or any adjournment thereof. Nominations by committee to 3 vacancies for three-year terms are LeRoy Dvorak, District at Large, Greg Hoffman, District at Large, and Tracy Ludwig, District number 6. The company provides the enclosed proxy card for your use if you are unable to attend. You may select one of the directors listed or enter a member's name who will be present to act as your proxy in connection with any business to come before the meeting. The proxy card is addressed on the reverse side for mailing. Important. Please be sure to sign and date the proxy card, as the proxy is not valid without date and signature. Please RSVP for this meeting to ensure a quorum will be reached. Call 888-397-4321 or email NNTC@nntc.net or fill out the online form www.nntc.net/RSVP by September 12th. Please leave your name and the number of your party, including yourself. Please note, with an earlier meeting time, light refreshments will be served. Every NNTC member in attendance will receive a gift from the company and be eligible for prizes. See the yellow attendance card for details. For any other matter for the good of the company may be brought up at the meeting. Your company will continue to be what you, the members, make it. Dated the 29th day of August 2024. Signed, John L. Knievel, Secretary, Northeast Nebraska Telephone. Now, if you're still awake, we're going to do the minutes of the last meeting. The 66th annual members meeting of the Northeast Nebraska Telephone Company. The 66th annual membership meeting of the Northeast Nebraska Telephone Company was held on Thursday, September 21st, 2023 at Northeast Nebraska Telephone Company Warehouse, Jackson, Nebraska. The meeting was called to order at 4 p.m. with President Dave Armstrong presiding. Armstrong proclaimed that a quorum was registered and present. The agenda for the meeting was approved. Secretary's report. The notice of the annual meeting and the minutes from the 2022 annual members meeting were read by Board Secretary John L. Knievel. The minutes were approved as read. Treasurer's report. Alyssa Orange briefly discussed the company's financial status. She commented that everyone should have received a treasurer's report and outline of the financial condition of the company during their registration for this meeting, and asked if there were any questions from the floor. There being no questions, a motion was made and seconded that the treasurer's report be adopted as presented. Motion carried. Manager's report. NNTC General Manager Pat McElroy shared that the industry of rural broadband is making news every day. He explained that the federal government has appropriated $42 billion for rural broadband, and Nebraska has received $405 million of that money to build out into areas who do not have rural broadband today. He showed a map of Nebraska showing the areas which do not have access to rural broadband internet. McElroy introduced the NNTC's competition, Starlink and WISPs, wireless internet service providers. He told the crowd that both options downgrade speeds when multiple customers are brought onto the same unit. He said fiber has a 30-year life cycle and possibly more without a service downgrade. McElroy highlighted the 4 areas NNTC is currently expanding into, 3 of which are thanks to state grants. He introduced the following new build areas: south of Hubbard, north of Highway 20 near South Sioux City, in Antelope County south of Royal and Orchard, and Butler County east of David City and west of Brainerd. McElroy talked about the coffee and happy hour open houses the company has hosted in nearly all NNTC communities in the last 2 years. The company has been presenting Smart Rural Community Awards to the communities at these open houses, which signifies the ability to grow thanks to a robust internet connection. McElroy presented the last Smart Rural Community Award to Randy Morton, a representative of the Village of Jackson. Nominating committee report. I'm just about done. Board member Tracy Ludwig read the minutes of the July 2023 nominating committee meeting. New business. Following the reading of the minutes of the nominating committee and a request for nominations from the floor, the members were asked to use their ballots to vote for the directors of their choice. The ballot counting committee reported that President Dave Armstrong was re-elected to District 1, Second Vice President Tom Stronach was re-elected to District 4, and Secretary John Knievel was re-elected to District 3. Adjournment. The meeting was adjourned at 4:47 p.m. Signed, John L. Knievel, Secretary. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I would look for your approval of those minutes. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. At this time, we have door prize drawing. They are $50 gift certificates to the Rodeos Bar and Grill in Coleridge and Marin's Convenience Store in Newcastle. All right, for the gift certificate to the Rodeos Grill and Bar, the winner is Carl Peterson of Jackson. And the Marin's Convenience Store goes to Lyle Carlson of Allen. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. Don't know that. Files there. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Melissa. At this time, Alyssa Arns will come forward and read the treasurer's report.
A smattering of applause. That's all.
That's fine. I'm not usually so high maintenance.
There we go. You can move that.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah? Okay. All right. Like I said, go ahead and hold your applause till the end. There's going to be a lot to cheer about here. Now is the best part of the afternoon, well, other than the gifts and the snacks in the back. It's time to talk about the financial condition of the company, which, spoiler alert, is favorable this year, so great. You should all have received a notice of the annual meeting booklet, so if you want to pull that out, you don't have to, but if you'd like to. If you turn to page 5, you will see the income statement. If you focus your attention on the bottom of the page, you can see the company shows a net income of just over $13 million. As I've pointed out in the past, in the last few years, this does include unrealized gains and losses on investments now as required by law. So for 2023, that amount is a gain of around $5.3 million. So that just means that sitting in the stock market, it's gone up and we haven't sold anything. So we just have to show that on the income statement, but nothing's changed. So what it does is it puts our real net income closer to $7.9 million. Still a great net income. Moving on to the balance sheet on page 6, you can see at the bottom of the page our assets are just over $115 million. This is up about $10 million from last year due to additional investments in our plant facilities as well as the unrealized gains in stocks. If you turn to page 7, you will see the second half of the balance sheet. Toward the bottom of the page, under equity, you will see capital credits allocated, which shows $53 million allocated but unpaid through 2023. Last December, the board authorized a payout of $5 million in capital credits that included 20% of the 2022 allocations, 100% of the 2012 allocations, and 40% of a special allocation done in 2012. The prior year, the board authorized a 30% payout of that allocation, so there's still 30% allocated in that pool that could be paid at a later date. If you recall from last year, because I know everything I say is very memorable, this was from the proceeds of the sale of a wireless license that we held from 2006 to 2012. So you would have had to be a customer during that time to receive a check from this pool. This is also the 5th year in a row the board has made the decision to pay back part of the most current year. That allows our new customers to feel the value in being part of NNTC. To date, your co-op has paid out nearly $77 million to the members since 1990. Another quick thing I wanted to point out, if you move to page 8, is that this is the first time we haven't had a change in total customers. I think the great story this is telling us is that since there probably aren't a ton of people flocking into our towns, the existing homeowners are finding value in the services we offer and becoming customers. And last but not least, we continue to pay down the debt borrowed from the Rural Utilities Service to put in all of the fiber facilities. At the end of last year, it was just under $10.7 million with all notes below 3%. Do you guys have any questions? When can we get out of here? It's hot. All right, next up will be an update from our general manager, Pat McElroy. I know most of you are probably thinking, how is he going to follow this stellar performance? But please try to be open-minded.
Okay, Dave, I think we need to accept the treasurer's report as presented. You want to ask for a motion? Yeah, I think you need to do it, Dave. I'm not an official member of the board.
Okay. The treasurer's report has been presented, and I look for a motion to approve that report. Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? And I have a second in the back. All in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
There's a couple prizes too, Dave. You want to give those away?
Oh, I thought that was after yours, but we can...
No, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
Okay.
Mike's still a little low.
All right, buckle up. If I could have all the employees come to the front of the stage, please. Thank you very much. While they're doing that, I would like to recognize the law enforcement that was standing here. I felt like I was in the Blues Brothers. I was wondering who he's here for. So line up along here, everybody, just so they can see you. So don't be shy. What a good-looking group of people, huh? All right, well, I'm going to call each of your name out. I'd like you to wave your hand so people know who we're talking about when I get into the funny part of my speech. So, first of all, the accounting department. You met Alyssa earlier. She won't be with us probably this year, next year, but we'll see. So, Angie Erweiler is our accountant, and Nick Nias is an accountant. Paula Wente, she does a lot of things for us. She's kind of our sales representative. So, and new in the last 2 years is Dulcie Perkins. So, and then we have our marketing and customer service. So you guys have seen Melissa walking around. She's kind of sets this all up. So thank you very much. Trace, there she is. She's down in Clark's. And then in our office here we have Patty Raver, who's familiar to most of you. Lisa Nugent, Trish Varenhorst, and Tristan Nelson. So now we go to the ones that are usually dirty by this time of day. We had to take away some of the yellow shirts until about 3:45 because otherwise they get dirty. So it's led by Cliff Woodbury. Cliff runs all of our operations. He does a great job. Makes sure we have the newest and greatest stuff. So Barry Stearns, he's out in Clearwater. Brett Cappy. Oh yeah, there's Brett. Everybody, yeah, hold down your applause. Dave Burcham. Dave's up in the Newcastle Coleridge area. Dean Fisher, is Dean here? Yep. Dean's out in Spencer and Butte. Dan Cloud, he kind of makes his way to see everybody and helps out wherever he's needed. So Brian Eberly runs all the Clark's exchanges. So Jack Fisher. Is Jack here? Or? No, I don't see him. So, Charlie Green. So, Charlie was on our construction crew, but he's transitioned basically to become our next combo tech. So that's great. Justin Steen. Oh, that's an old one. Okay, that's gone. Heath Neighborhouse. So he just had a birthday. He'd like us to sing to him later, but we won't. Ryan Beacom. He's in charge of all these jokers. Dale and Isaac Kolker. So, Mason Hall. and Garrett Blanky. So, then also our guys that are kind of the biggest nerds in the company. They make all the gear run. Jeff Preston, Matt Musicman, and Mark Krug. So, if I missed anyone, please shout your name out so they don't. Oh, Kurt Mullins, is he still here? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I met him inside. All right. Thank you, everyone. I love these yellow shirts. They're nice and radiant. As a Hawkeye fan, this is probably the best it's going to get for me. So I wore a sympathetic tie for him today. I was gonna wear my Hawkeye tie, and my wife said, "No, you can't do it. We're not having a very good season yet." And I said, "But yeah, we're 1-0 against Troy." Okay, enough Cornhusker jokes. So these are the people that make sure you have the best internet in Nebraska every day. Thanks, guys. As many of you probably know, I'm Pat McElroy. I've been here 22 years, and I'm really glad this year our president, Dave, has remembered my name and didn't call me Pat McAfee. So today we got a lot of good news and a little bad news to share with you. So first, some of the good news. Operationally, as you've seen and probably experienced, we're doing great. The financials we just presented show how efficient we operate, and that, by the way, we are growing, which is a good thing. The bad news is that we will no longer be paying back capital credit checks. Any questions? Hearing none, thanks. That concludes my remarks. No, okay. I was just practicing in case, God forbid, I ever have to make that speech. Hopefully, I never will. But I would be remiss if I didn't inform you what is going on right now in our courts that threatens the manner in which we operate. If you look at the big picture, we operate in some of the most rural places in America. We rely on federal universal service to help us provide comparable rates at comparable prices to those in metro areas across the United States. It's also important to acknowledge that rural Americans' population is not growing like the population in metro areas. This summer, the Fifth Circuit Court has determined that the way in which we, Northeast Nebraska Telephone Company, and 900 other rural phone companies gets our federal support payments, and that it is unconstitutional. Obviously, we do not agree with this ruling. What that would mean to us would be that in order to operate in the manner that we have been operating, we would need to add an additional $93 to each of our bills every month. So where does this stand today? The case is going to be appealed to the Supreme Court, who may rule on it in our favor, or they may throw it out, since 2 other circuit courts ruled in our favor, or they may uphold the lower court's decision. Of course, we are working feverishly to make sure that doesn't happen. But there are certain demographics working against us. In the past, when we have needed to move policies forward, we could press our issues with what we called the farm team in DC. That was a coalition on both sides of the aisle from rural states that have worked to pass the Farm Bill and other important bills to rural America. As the rural American families have gotten smaller and metro areas have grown, the influence of the farm team has diminished greatly. This makes our task just a little bit more difficult. So, where do I see this ending up, or how do I see it playing out? If I look to my crystal ball, I fully expect that it'll get worked out in our favor, either through the courts or legislatively. Simply because the alternative would be catastrophic to rural America. If you think about it, there's 900 phone companies like us, and we've all borrowed money from the government. And if we don't pay our government loans back, there's another default. It'd be a tough thing. So that's kind of how I see it playing out. But kind of on the flip side, the optimistic side of me, if it did happen, maybe there'd be a lot of opportunities for a company like us that's been run so efficiently. And there's many that probably haven't been run that efficiency, and we could probably garner some more territory. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. So moving on to a better subject. I know that's kind of a downer to talk through, but I'd be remiss if I didn't let you guys know about it. So moving on to a better subject, I just thought I would give you a rundown of the major projects we have going on right now in our company. You heard the minutes from last year. South of Hubbard, we received a grant of $1.2 million that covered 75% of our costs to go to 96 homes. In May, we finished that build, got all the homes built to, and we started connecting customers. And currently, we have 59% of the potential 96 homes served. So that's going great in a matter of a few months. So in Antelope County, which is south of Orchard, between Orchard and Clearwater, we got a grant of $1.3 million to provide service to 106 homes. And we just finished that up in August, and so far we're already serving 29% of those homes, so that's great too. Butler County, down by Saunders County, going over towards David City, we received a grant which was a 100% grant, meaning that 100% of our costs will be paid for, of $2.4 million, and it's to connect 89 homes between our Weston Exchange and David City. That project is going great. We'll probably wrap it up here in the month of September, and then we have to start hooking up customers and doing all the testing for the state to get the rest of our funds. So that's a great thing. So, and then the big news that we won this year, we won a almost $3.8 million grant for 176 homes in Polk County. You may not be familiar with Polk County, but it kind of lies adjacent to our Clark's company, and what it does is it covers all of the rural, not all, but majority of the rural around the towns of Stromsburg and Osceola. So it's a very, very big project, but we have 18 months to get it done, and it'll clear up a big part of the map in Nebraska that needs to be covered. So that's all good. We've been busy getting grants and making sure we could expand in a way that works for us. You may have heard about the BEAD money that's coming. That's the $42.5 billion that I talked about last year. That still hasn't been distributed at all. It could be. It'll probably start in 2025. Last night they approved Nebraska's plan, so that makes us move forward. So we got another deadline met. So that's kind of what's going on. The other project that we're moving forward is basically building from here over to Highway 77 and down to Homer. So we're putting out bids for the Homer project. We have a couple back, and we'll probably try to get that started just as soon as possible. And then the rural in Dakota County, we'll build all of that so that basically anything outside of South Sioux City coming this direction will be our service territory. So in conclusion, we got a lot of things going on, but the people in this room that we work for and that we get to work with every day makes this a pleasure, and I thank you very much for having me as your general manager. So, any questions? All right, well, thank you very much. What's up next, Dave? Oh, we got a couple of drawings. I'll get that going. A $50 gift card to Uni's Palace. Who's ever been to Uni's Palace in here? Yeah, I saw a lot of you jokers out there last time I was there. So, and then a 500 gigabit credit for a bill. So you want to do a couple drawings? So. Okay, this will be good for me to pronounce. Karen Haverneck. Did I say that right? No. Haravnik? What? Havronic. All right. That's to Uni's Palace. Well, you can raffle it off in the parking lot. And the gigabytes go, cheapers.
I know.
Yeah. We have a lot. Yeah. I'm Irish, by the way. I don't know if you've figured that out yet. A lot of these Czech names get me. Cizik, Ron Cizik. Cizik, of course. Spencer, Nebraska. So, all right. Very good. Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Michael Brabecht. I probably said that one wrong, too, didn't I? He'll read the minutes of the nominating committee.
Thank you. I have a short story to tell you before I continue here. This husband called home and told his wife that he's going to be late for dinner. He said, I got a ticket. And she said, I suppose you got a speeding ticket. She said, no. Going down the road and a bird hit my windshield, splattered on my windshield. And well, did he crack the windshield? He says, no. Well, how'd you get a ticket? He said, well, I reached around through my window and grabbed him and flung him back. And there was a state policeman behind me. It hit his windshield. What, did it break it? Nobody gave me a ticket for flipping him the bird. Anyhow. The nominating committee meeting for Northeast Nebraska Telephone Company was convened at 7:40 p.m. Wednesday, July 17th, 2024 at Cahill's Restaurant, South Sioux City, Nebraska. Upon calling the roll, the following committee members were present: Ed Mosier Jr., Clearwater; Terry Wilkerson, Coolidge; Sherry Albert, Jackson; Eugene Shimanik, Morse Bluff; Ray Knievel, Dixon; Eric Cole, Stewart; Darren Brown, Craig; Michael Brabitz, Morse Bluff; John R. Thiel, Clearwater. Also in attendance was Pat LeRoy, General Manager, and Alicia Ahrens, Director of Finance. Sherry Albert was elected Chairman and Ed Mosier was elected Secretary. Chairman Sherry Albert then called the meeting to order. The minutes of the last nominating committee held July 19th, 2023 were read. John Thiel offered a motion to approve the minutes. Ray Knievel seconded the motion, and the minutes were unanimously approved. Pat and Alicia updated the committee about what has gone on in the company the last year. They discussed the increase in TV rates and decrease in internet rates. They gave an update on the expansion areas for which state grants were won, as well as talked about new funding opportunities in 2024 they would explore. They concluded by discussing the personnel changes. The 2024 annual membership meeting will be held on September 19th in Jackson, Nebraska. Chairman Sherry Albert then stated that nominations were in order for 3 directors, each serving 3-year terms. The following nominations were made and seconded. District 6, Tracy Ludwig, Stewart. District at Large, Greg Hoffman, Clearwater. District at Large, LeRoy, Dvorak, Prague. Pat thanked the committee members for participating in this process of submitting the nominations for the annual membership meeting and requested the committee's continued input on company business and potential improvements. There being no other business to be conducted, a motion was made by Michael Brabitz to adjourn this meeting, and the motion was seconded by Gene Shimanik. The motion was approved, and the meeting was adjourned. Ed Mosier, Jr., Secretary. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. At this time, we move on to our new business, which is the election of directors. And I would like to introduce our 3 nominees along with the other directors. So At the end, we have the nominee from District 6, Tracy Ludwig. Next to her, our Director at Large for nominee is Greg Hoffman. And to my right is LeRoy Dvorak, Director at Large. And continuing with the introductions, we have Tom Stronach, John Knievel, and from the end on this side, we have Jeff Hurl, Larry Domina, and Jeff Hartung, excuse me. All right, forgive me. Those are the nominees, the three first introduced, and at this time I would like to ask for nominations from the floor, if there are any. And we'll take a minute to accommodate that.
While we're taking a minute, I just think I'd be remiss if I didn't say something today. We lost Marv Domina in the last month, Larry's dad. Marv was a longtime director for the phone company, basically from early 80s until about 4 years ago. And he was a great guy to me, helped my career. He was very friendly, and he'd give me a sly smile when he was losing his hearing later on, and then later on he'd ask me what was going on. So, but I really enjoyed him, and he was a great for us to have to our company. So.
Thank you, Pat. That would have been a great omission not to mention Marv. Okay, at this time, if there are no nominations from the floor, that part will be closed. And you have your ballots. There will be baskets passed, so you can insert the ballots there. They will be counted later. And at this time, we'll have a couple more door prizes. Before we get to the door prizes, though, I would like to announce that every member in attendance here today will receive a $50 credit to their bill for the next bill. So thank you. Let's see, where's Alyssa's gathering? Oh, here she comes.
4 tickets to Nebraska.
The first, yes. Okay, our first drawing will be for 4 tickets to the Nebraska-Rutgers football game.
There's very few of us here.
All right. The winner of the 4 tickets to the Nebraska-Rutgers game is Brent Johnson of Concord. Brent here? You're back there. All right. Yes. Yes. The TV. Yep. And at this time, we will have the second drawing for a 60-inch Crystal Ultra high-definition smart TV. And the winner is Gregory Morse from Morse Bluff. Okay, so All right, if there is no other business to be brought before our meeting today, I would look for a motion to adjourn. Okay, I got a motion. Is there a second? Yeah, okay, there is a second. All in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Again, travel safely home.
I would just like to add, if you didn't get a door prize at the beginning, go ahead and go to the red tables. We'll get you hooked up now. Thank you.